Hello and welcome to episode 5 of my Q&A series on Procurement Mentors channel. Episode 5, this is a question which is about registration or qualification of vendors, has been asked by many people, especially from eastern side of countries. People tend not to recognize the difference between the two. I've had this question from Kashif in Riyadh. I've also been asked this question from Hisham in Sudan and Noor in Jakarta in Indonesia. This is the subtle difference between supplier registration versus supplier qualification. What is the difference in these two things? And as the name suggests, the registration is registration. When the vendor basically registers themselves on your system, you basically tell all of your existing vendors to register on your system and new vendors to register on your system. Whoever is interested in doing business with you registers on your system with basic details. A qualification, however, vendor qualification, is qualifying that vendor for a particular piece of work, i.e., if you are doing a construction, for example, for $5.5 million and you need vendors to provide you that service of $5.5 million and you know what your pre-qualification standards are, you will see out of your registered vendors, which may be 70 for construction, which ones of them have right turnover, have right capacity, have right experience for building that particular type of building, have right kind of team available to them to be able to be pre-qualified to do the tender that is going to be done at a later stage. So that is qualification. A vendor registration is simpler, easier on the system, all the vendors, and qualification is some specific vendors out of those all vendors who can deal with that particular tender that you are going to send out. So if you have an AI system and you will tell an AI system essentially that you are going to be doing a value of $5.5 million, essentially that AI system will only pick the vendors who have both the financial means or team means or other means from the registered vendors who can actually deliver that particular service, and it will give you recommendations on 5 or 6 or 7 or 10 vendors essentially that you can then approach with your pre-qualification or your ITT. Essentially, for registration, you do not require them to have the insurances and other things in place, but for qualification, in order for them to be considered for ITT or invitation to tender or tender documentation, they need to have all of those things in place. I hope this has made this kind of difference clear between the vendor registration and vendor qualification. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to give me a shout on the scholarsvoice101@gmail.com. And once again, I'm your host Rizwan Khalid and look forward to seeing you in another episode. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.